My name is Ben. Welcome back to Through the Scope Thursdays. I'm going to give you guys a couple little tips and tricks about how to take better photos through your binoculars and scope. In terms of material, what you'll need is a phone, the newer the better in terms of picture quality, and some sort of lens to look through, whether that be your binoculars or a spotting scope. I'll teach you how to use both. We'll start off with the spotting scope, seeing as people find it a little bit easier to use. The advantage of using a spotting scope is that you only need to worry about the shakiness of your camera hand and not the shakiness of the scope hand. Once you set that up, it should just stay still. Get your subject into focus using the focus knob before you start filming through the eye hole. Preparing in advance makes it a lot easier to just focus on the shakiness of your hand. If you're having trouble framing up on the subject and you see this black ring forming and only a small amount of light, just remember that if you move down, that ring goes up, and vice versa. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to frame in on your subject. Now moving on to the binos, it's the same concept, except now you have 2 points of shakiness, the hand holding the binos and the hand holding the phone. I suggest you choose your less shaky, usually dominant hand to hold the phone. And it's also good for ID when you might not have your fancy camera on you or don't have time to pull it out. Getting a quick picture through the scope means that you can identify it later. Working with the binos can be nice because you can frame up on subjects that move much faster than if you're using your scope, but it is harder. So, for the binos, like before, make sure that your subject is in focus, then bring your camera in. I like to rest one of my hands on part of the binos to give myself steadying leverage that then I can scan with. Aha! There you are. A reminder that these do not need to be the nicest pictures you've ever seen. I use these for ID most of the time, which means I just need to see enough of the shapes and the colors on the subject to get a good idea of what to look up later. Here you can see a really good example of those shapes and colors on my little Flickr friend. I know through the scope photography is not going to be for everybody. It's never going to be as nice as a professional photo taken with an expensive camera, and it's never going to be easy either. But I've taken really nice photos with a scope, and I think that you can too. I hope that these, tips and tricks really helped you out. And if you have any more questions, I'll try to answer them in the comments or make a future post like this. And tune back into Through the Scope Thursdays so you can see more stuff like this that I put out in the future. Goodbye!